it into us?
Yes, I rang up yesterday evening and spoke to somebody effectively about this. About, I think it was early afternoon, mid-afternoon. I rang up yesterday and spoke to somebody about this. I just need to add some additional
Yeah, I've
information.
got it. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got it. It's been put on the case on the 22nd. Okay, how can I help, David?
Right, yesterday I rang up and I explained what the situation was, and that I was acting on behalf of my client, and I wanted to rectify the situation, but it wasn't. We ended the call with me saying that I was issuing a verbal cease and desist for this action, this recovery action, and I'm now sat at the laptop after speaking to my client, about to draw up some various paperwork to send down to you, some notices, to notice of a default, an opportunity to cure. I need to know, basically, if I could speak to is there a floor manager or anybody higher than anybody like yourselves to speak to, or should I just communicate via notices and letters?
There's somebody here now. Just bear with me a second, thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's try this then, guys. Let's try and see if they're trained legally, lawfully, honourably, etc. Speak to a manager and ask for discretionary powers to be applied. Cease and desist has been given. We'll see. We will see. Can I get a drink of water? Sorry. It doesn't matter. Water. Yeah, I'll have to, please.
Hello, Jessica speaking. How can I help?
Hello, who's that? Jessica?
It is, yeah.
Hello, good morning. This is David. I'm calling from sovereignparalegals.uk. I have power of attorney on this case, and I'd just like to request to speak to a manager, or who are you? What's your title, please?
I'm one of the managers here, so how is it I can help?
Have you got the case reference and everything in front of you? I just want to...
I have, yeah.
All right, brilliant, thank you. I called up yesterday and I explained the situation. As I've recently been given power of attorney, I've been handling this claim against my client since December, since it was issued. And now I'm sat at the laptop about to draw up a notice of default, opportunity to cure, and send off to you, and a thought has crossed my mind. So this is a courtesy call to say that yesterday I called up, I spoke to an operator. Thank you. The operator that I spoke to didn't understand what I was saying, so I thought this morning I'll ring up and endeavour to speak to a floor manager, because I ended the call by giving a verbal cease and desist to the company that you work for, the debt recovery company. And as I'm sat drafting this letter up, I thought, out of goodwill, I will communicate or endeavour to find a manager that I can speak to, just to outline.
David, I'm real sorry to interrupt, but we're not going to go into any of this with you. We're literally here to collect payment for parking charges. We're not going to go into any legal standings or anything like that. If you want it to progress to court, and that way you can submit a defence on behalf of the person you're calling for, then you can absolutely do that. But as a debt recovery company, we are only here to collect payment. We don't take people to court. We don't correspond with solicitors. We don't deal in any of that, you see.
Okay then, do you have a department that does, or for your company?
No, we don't, no. Like I say, we're just debt recovery here.
Okay then, so
We
just...
don't have
Okay.
anything like that, I'm afraid.
I understand this has happened before, so out of legal obligation, lawful obligation, codes of practices, you are a business that is regulated, monitored by various governing bodies, so we'll cut this short then. Just give me a couple of minutes to close down the conversation, if I may then. The acquiescence and permanent estoppel have been committed by Vehicle Control Services of Sheffield. So you have got first-hand knowledge and information from myself, David, that's acting with power of attorney for my client on this case, and you've been given a verbal cease and desist, which is a legal and lawful requirement,
David,
regarding this case. Yeah,
we're
you are.
following
That's all right. I just need 2 minutes. I know you are.
guidelines.
Please give me 2 minutes, and I will politely hang up and never bother you
Irrelevant
again.
though, David,
Yeah.
what you're telling me now is all irrelevant to us.
It's not, because you're governed by contract law and employment, the legislation that employs your powers of business.
We're not a parking company, David. As I've explained, we're only a debt recovery company.
Yeah,
so
you're a company though.
Yeah,
Yeah, as you're a company, please listen to me. As a client's customer, you're trying to impose a contract on a private person. You're following the legislation. I understand that, And with regards to legislation, you need to be aware of the Bill of Rights Act, you know, that governs fines and forfeitures, the Declaration of Rights, and the way that we've done this has created a stopple and acquiescence. So you guys have got no, when you try attempt to take this to court, I will prove that my client has offered all various ways and, you know, legal reasons
David,
to satisfy
this. We won't be taking
this.
this to court. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're just the debt recovery company.
Yeah,
If
well,
it goes to court, it'll be the parking company, not us.
okay,
so I know
then,
that you called it, David, but there's nothing further that we can discuss, I'm afraid.
You need to pass this back to your client then, the creditor is
We're
what
not
we're
passing it back
requesting.
to the client, David. If it's not paid to us, we'll be referring it on to their solicitor.
Well, I'm a paralegal advisor, and I'm from sovereignparalegals.uk.
No, I appreciate that,
yeah,
David,
so that's
but
fine.
that's relevant to us. We're here to collect payments. If you're not paying, I can't discuss it any further.
Well, I've power of attorney on the account, haven't I? You know that. So I'm instructing you to cease and desist, and there's no contract and no consent, and acquiescence.
So thank you for your call. Okay, I'm going to come to the end of the call now. We are going to continue with the charge. Okay.
Yeah, this is illegal, unlawful way that you are continuing to conduct.
Statutory and regulatory guidelines, David. Okay.
Yeah, so you must cease and desist and pass it back to the client as instructed.
So thank you for your call.
All right, I've recorded this call and I'll be using it as evidence. Okay, thank you for your time.
No problem. Goodbye.
You. Goodbye. That's how we do it, guys. So they're not listening. They have to cease and desist. They're a corporation that's regulated by various governing bodies. We will be reporting them to the Ombudsman and various other people. We will wait to see what charges, claims, allegations they will try and apply for through an administrative court system. I will put on notice Vehicle Control Services with the notice of default and opportunity to cure. I will instruct my client, advise my client, our client, that he's needs to strongly consider invoking the Magna Carta Article 61 and doing an oath, not necessarily sending it off to the barons, but getting an oath ready, signing it. I'm actually going to send mine off. I'm going to see if I get a reply and what paperwork I get back, just as a test for you guys. I'll redraft mine, update it, I'll send it off to one of the barons. I'll let you know which one it is. We'll see what, if anything, I get back. Because they do kind of, if this is going to happen and we're going to have to get en masse in numbers and this paperwork system is not going to be recognised, validated, used, you know, there's a big gang out there called the police and they work for somebody else, not us, and they look after other people's stuff. We don't comply, they're going to come to get us. Who have we got to go and get them? We haven't got the police, we haven't got anybody that's available as a public service to protect us except ourselves. So, as acquiescence and permanent estoppel have occurred with Vehicle Control Services, we are making the strength of our argument regards to human rights. We are not using the European International, Human Rights Act. We're going to use the Bill of Rights Act, the Declaration of Rights, the Coronation Oath Act, the Magna Carta 1216, his own oath. We've created acquiescence and permanent estoppel with Vehicle Control Services by offering the data request to them that they wanted for the driver for a £10 fee. They rejected that. Everything has been done within the realms of the honourable way, without contracting, without using legalese, speaking Anglo-English. These people are acting unlawfully. They don't want to listen, they're not prepared to. There's nobody there that can speak to me legally, lawfully about anything. They're going to get the notice to agent, notice to principal. We're going to declare the following to be true and correct to the best of our knowledge. It will be a lawful notice. If they fail to comply with this notice, they'll be deemed to be in absolute agreement with the points raised. They cannot ignore it. A reply to this notice is required within 10 days, otherwise it will represent the tacit acquiescence of the facts. The notice that you're able to provide lawful proof of claim. You're going to be put on notice of my standing of the lawful facts. They can't ignore it unless they agree to the acquiescence of the facts, thereby agreeing in full with the lawful points I've made in the previous notice served. If they fail to respond in substance or within the reasonable time limit afforded to them herein, or rebut the points raised within the previous notices to Vehicle Control Services, they need to pass this account back They need to, under the taking control of goods order, they can do that, but they haven't got a taking control of goods order. They're just basically a credit third-party corporate entity, as you see in the first part of the video, that they're robots and zombies that operate under corporate script and don't listen, and that's what I'm saying. There's no gang to protect us. We've got our own gang. The Magna Carta gang and the I don't know what you'd call everybody else that's on this alliance, Jedi alliance of truth and light and honourable, lawful commerce, levy, trade, barter. You see, British constitutional law forbids us to aid and abet the Crown until Article 61 has been revoked by the Barons Committee. It also forbids me to aid and abet another man or woman who is not standing in open rebellion in compliance. I make a little, what am I saying, because I'm bringing this to people and I've only just got on it myself, I kind of let that bit have a little bit of a bend in it. I know some of the other people under Article 61 are a bit more strict with how they talk to people. They're quite, you know, if you're not under Article 61, I haven't got time for you. I appreciate, because of my journey into this and the lengthy amount of research that I've done, the confusion and the resistance to want to do an oath and sign it to somebody, barons, that you know nothing about. Yeah, so you know, these third-party interlopers that they've got no lawful claim against, and there's acquiescence and estoppel being committed, and they're not listening to anybody. They will find out if they take it to court and they press it further, and we prove that we've tried to settle this privately, this civil issue that started off with a silly, you know, £35 fine in December 2016. It's now the 28th of April 2017. Shows you they can't do anything, they have no power. We've put it down the road for 5 months nearly, and now it's getting to the closing stages. They don't like it because nothing's happened, and you know, money's been spent, contracts have been refused, no joinder and no acceptance has happened, no claiming the name, no admittance, no appealing. It's all been done in a structured, controlled way through myself. So now I'll go back and advise the client, consider taking the oath. I will draft up another letter, notice of intent, opportunity to cure, as it may end up going to court, or this will be used as evidence going with the return of the summons or whatever he gets, warrant of execution for taking control of goods or liability, litigation, whatever they choose to road to go down. We will be able to prove and get it thrown out. No further action, no case to answer, unlawful, illegal, and we may even put a counterclaim in for harassment, demanding monies with menaces, harm, injury, loss, under duress. You know, there's lots of ways we can tackle this. So they do push you to the end, they do rely on your fear. You do need to have someone to help you to do this, so then therefore you don't get into contractual quandaries and tricks. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's all good fun. There's no harm going to come. There's nothing. They've got no powers. It's a civil matter. The police cannot be involved. It continues on. So yes, thank you very much. Peace, love and light, sobs.